Hey everyone!
Hi!
Welcome to
Girl Talkin' Shenanigans.
I'm Marilyn.
And I'm Cynthia.
And we are so excited to be here with you guys. We're so glad you found our podcast. We have poured some champagne so we can make a little toast to celebrate launching our first podcast. And
I totally can't even believe it.
I know.
It's really here.
It's
finally.
been several months in the making.
Yes, it has. So, cheers.
Cheers, Cynthia.
Cheers to you, Marilyn.
Quick sip. Okay, now that we got celebration out of the way. So it did take us a few months to get here.
Yeah, for sure.
We've had some hiccups and some little bumps in the road, but we're so excited to be here.
Yeah.
And the whole thing kind of started because we've been telling our friends and family, we're doing a podcast. And they're like, how did you come up with that idea? And honestly, we're going to give credit to my husband, Steve. He's the one that put a bug in our ear. And we started talking about it. We were at this cute little restaurant in Loomis called the Flower Farm Cafe. And we just started talking about well,
what if we did a podcast?
Yeah.
We could spend so much time together.
Yeah.
We could go places and then we could talk about it.
Yeah.
And it just started sounding super fun.
Yeah. Because we do all these things together all the time.
Yeah.
And it was like, what if we just talked about our adventures that we go on? What if we just talk about stuff that is just going on in our lives that people can relate to? And so we were like, let's do it.
Yeah. And then we kind of threw it out there a little bit to a couple people, and people were super excited, and they were like, yeah, you two? Yeah, you two should do a podcast for sure. And then even at the Flower Farm, we talked to some people that were there, and we kind of said, yeah, we're trying to do a podcast. And they're like, oh my gosh, you guys have a podcast, we will listen to it for sure, right?
Yeah, and that felt so...
And it made us look more confident.
Yeah, and it made it more exciting because we're like, well, what if nobody wants to listen to us? But every time we go somewhere, people are like, can I sit with you girls? Like, you girls are having so much fun. Can I join you? And
or can we take your picture?
Yeah, or they'll want to take our picture. Take a picture with us.
Her.
Well, no, but yeah, so we're just like, why not just do it?
Yeah.
You know? And the part that I think we loved the most was not just having all that time together doing our adventures, but all this time filming, we had no idea that it was going to be shopping and having to learn techie stuff and learn what an audio interface is.
Yeah.
I like to call it a flux capacitor.
Yeah, she calls it the flux capacitor.
I love Back to the Future.
That's our flux capacitor.
Yeah, it's our flux capacitor.
Yeah. And but again, though, we've become, I feel, a lot smarter.
Yeah.
A little more techier.
Yeah.
Because so far we've done almost all of it all by ourselves.
Yeah, almost all of it.
And really tried to figure things out. And and here we are.
Yeah, totally. And so when Cynthia and I were throwing the idea around, she was like, well, we're going to do video, right? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't know if I want people watching me talk. And then I was, learning about how podcasts work. And then I realized all the podcast platforms, you only hear the people. It's when you go to YouTube that you get to see the actual video and them talking. So
right.
Cynthia had said, I think we should do the video. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And then we realized it was going to be so much easier to launch our podcast on YouTube instead of a podcast platform. So we thought, well, let's just do it and start it on YouTube.
See how it goes.
And see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then we can always add more options later.
Yeah.
And so...
And change if we want to, or we can do whatever we want. That's the thing. We're the boss.
Yeah, we get to be the boss. We don't have to answer to anybody. And so anyhow, along the way, we wanted to create a studio, which is where we're at right now.
It's our pretty little studio.
Our little studio, and it's a little retreat off my master bedroom, and we just reconfigured it. But we did have some hiccups along the way, starting with us going, Well, what if we found some really cute chairs that would be kind of like a signature chair that people would see and go, oh, that's Cynthia and Marilyn, right?
Or I think also it was more of you have looked at a few podcasts,
Yeah.
and you were liking the look of like comfortable, casual, a
relaxed.
nice, comfy chair.
Yeah.
Other than sitting at a table with a couple microphones and just talking into the microphones.
Yeah.
So she wanted a more comfy look. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, in the beginning, that was what we were looking for, was that homey, comfortable look.
Yeah, where it was just two besties sitting on the couch or sitting in cozy, oversized chairs just talking. So we jumped on Marketplace and we found these adorable, we should post some pictures.
I know, we
for
should.
people to see.
Yeah.
And then we could show them like how
The
everything
before and after.
yeah, came together. Because we found these gorgeous vintage crushed velvet, and it had this red floral pattern all over it, and we both fell in love with it, and we like vintage things. So we reached out to the girl in Marketplace, and she said they were free, and we were like, that's our favorite price. So we made arrangements with her to meet her at the place she worked at. It was called the Orchard, and we borrowed Steve's truck.
Yep. We were going to haul them ourselves.
Right?
You got
and
it.
Steve's like, do you want me to help you girls? I'm like, no, I think we got it.
Yeah.
I think we do.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we threw the straps in the truck and we drove up to Auburn and met her. And she had shoved these two massive chairs in the back of her little hatchback. And
Yeah, they were smashed in there.
Right?
For sure.
She
I
had
don't even know how she got them
I
all,
know, it was
all
like a
configured
puzzle.
in there.
Yeah.
I know.
And then, yeah, we pulled them out, got them in the truck, and then we were like, let's go shopping in that little store. And that was super fun.
Yeah.
We could talk more about the
Yeah.
Orchard later because we do want to give them a plug. They were
so super, super cute.
Yeah,
place.
very cute little store with the homemade stuff. But
Delicious
anyways,
pies. Yeah.
yeah. So, oh yeah, the delicious hand
that
pies.
hand pie.
Oh, I did love that.
Me
Okay.
too.
And then, okay, so then we brought them home, and then they were a little dusty. They were a little dirty
Yeah, they were kind of dirty.
because they're like, I mean, what,
I think
60?
and I think they had been out in her garage for
Oh, yeah,
quite
they
some
were.
time. So, yeah, actually, you had said you
Yeah.
had to like, get all the cobwebs and stuff on the bottom.
Yeah,
and all that
there's some
for-
cobwebs, and I have
And she has
arachnophobia.
arachnophobia.
Oh
so-
my gosh, that was a little scary. I had a flashlight underneath there looking, making sure there wasn't any black widow spiders or anything. Because I didn't want that in
No.
my master bedroom retreat.
No.
I'm bringing black widows into my house. So anyways, yeah, so we cleaned them up. We spent one
Whole afternoon.
afternoon
Scrubbing them.
cleaning them. We got them looking really good. And then we had to let them dry. And then you went to Hawaii.
Then I had a trip to Hawaii already planned, so I left. And also, to back up a tiny bit, only is that it was like the middle of summer,
Yeah.
and we get these chairs, and
yeah.
we're like, scrubbing them out in the sun. We're getting hot. I even had to borrow clothes from you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I got so hot in what I was wearing, so I'm like putting on a tank top and a skirt,
yeah.
like a little short skirt out there, and we're scrubbing everything.
Neighbors are driving by
Yeah.
and talking and
Like,
looking.
what are you guys doing? You
Yeah, totally.
Oh my gosh. And then, not to say, then that night, forecast a sprinkle of rain. I'm
yeah,
like,
in the middle of summer.
I'm like, oh my God, Marilyn. They're saying it's going to be rain. You got to get those chairs in the
Yeah.
garage because they'll be soaked. They'll be ruined,
I know. I actually was kind of freaking out because I couldn't move them myself. Braden, my son, was not home, and Steve wasn't home from work yet. So I ran in the house, and I was grabbing whatever I could, like big plastic black garbage bags for like, yard cleanup and stuff. And I was dropping them all over the top of it. And then within like a minute of doing that, Steve pulls up in the driveway, and I was like, "Hon, you gotta help me get these in the house." So yeah, that was a close
little
call.
crazy.
Woo!
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was nuts. So then I'm off to Hawaii with another friend, and so then she went on another chair adventure.
Well, here's the thing. So I was so excited to set this up so that when she got back from Hawaii, she could come into the studio and see the chairs all clean and looking great. And the thing that had happened was Steve and Braden brought the chairs upstairs, and we put them in the studio. And so big that they were like sticking out of the studio, like into the bedroom. And we were trying to position a camera to kind of get an idea of like, were they too big? Could we make them work? Even though they were a little
trying
larger.
to angle them every which way.
Totally. Yeah. No, they were not going to work. And I was so bummed. And so I thought, you know what? Let me just look on Marketplace again. I'm scrolling. And I'm thinking, I don't want to disappoint Cynthia. I'm not going to bother her. I actually think that we moved those chairs up here your first day in Hawaii.
Okay.
And so I was like, you know what? I don't want to tell her any bad news. I'm going to try to like see if we can make this work. So I get on Marketplace and I'm scrolling. And all of a sudden I see these two like antique pink mid-century style chairs, and they were so cute. And so I thought, you know what? I might message the girl or the seller about these chairs, but I thought I'm going to scroll down more into the feed and see if there was anything better. I didn't see anything better, so I scrolled back up to her post and it said pending in red letters, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, like this is so much anxiety for me. So I messaged the seller and I said, are these chairs still available? And she said, no, I'm so sorry, I'm making arrangements with somebody to pick them up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, so I have to let that go.
Yeah.
Maybe those weren't meant to be, because obviously the vintage floral chairs weren't meant to be now. So I just get back on Marketplace. I'm like, just telling myself, maybe it wasn't meant to be. I'll find something better. And I run across two electric blue chairs that were the exact same style, these ones, the exact same style as the antique pink, the mid-century modern. These were a little bit more. They were $120.
Yeah, so we went from free to $120.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And the funny thing in my mind was when I found the pink chairs, which we ended up, that'll come later.
Yeah. Over there.
the pink chairs, I thought, okay, free to $50 because the two antique pink chairs were listed at $50. I'm like, $50 not that much, you know.
Yeah, plus we split it.
Yeah, we're splitting it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Well, then I find the electric blue ones, and I'm like, oh my gosh, those are gorgeous. Maybe that was why I didn't get the pink, because I love the electric blue. And so, anyways, they were 120 though. So I'm like, message the lady, are they still available? Would you take 100? And she goes, absolutely. So I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. So I'm like, hun, can you drive to Sacramento tomorrow and pick these chairs up? Because I have a job in Sacramento, so I'll totally pick them up for you. So
Yeah, he's the best.
He is the best. Thank you for saying that.
Yes.
So the next day, Steve gets off work. He meets the seller. He gets the chairs. He brings them home, and I'm so excited. I get them all set up, and then the next morning I wake up. I'm getting ready, and I get a message. Girl who had the pink chairs, and she said, well, the buyer flaked, and if you want them, they're all yours. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh my gosh. So then I ran downstairs and I'm like, Steve, those pink chairs are now available. The buyer backed out. And I was like, what if we got them and we used them as guest chairs? Because eventually we're going to have some guests on our podcast. So I go, I think I'm going to make a corporate decision. Let's get the pink ones too. And so
now we're
Yes.
going from free to free chairs.
Thank you.
To $170.
Yes, I
for
know.
4 chairs.
Right? Yeah, that's a very good point. That is a very good point.
And all this time, I have no idea.
She has no
this
idea.
Is going on.
And I'm actually kind of freaking out inside. I'm like, hun, what if I've upset Cynthia? Like, I've spent too much money. I've gotten 4 chairs, but we still have the other 2.
Yeah, because now we have 6 chairs.
Yeah, 6 chairs. We got to say what happened with those other
I know.
chairs. Okay, we'll circle back to that because that's really funny. So I actually was kind of freaking out, thinking, I hope Cynthia's not going to be upset that I've gotten, 4 more chairs and whatever. So anyways, but we set him up. Oh, okay. So then I messaged a girl. I jumped ahead. I messaged a girl and I'm like, okay, so last night I bought 2 chairs exactly the same as yours because you said you had already found a buyer, but I'm thinking that I might actually get yours also. So we made plans to meet at Trader Joe's that next night. And we got them. And when I brought them in here, they were so cute. It fit perfectly.
It does.
Right?
Does. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in the meantime, we need to talk about the backdrop.
Yes, because in the meantime, Steve, her husband, is doing this whole backdrop for us in the back, which was to look like our banner, which
logo.
is with our logo. So it's a bright yellow with kind of like little effervescent bubbles coming up, and that's the background, right? So he in the meantime is making this whole background for us. I mean, literally to cover this whole wall. Yeah, and the challenges you had hanging that whole thing up.
Yeah, we had 3 ladders in this room so that Steve was on this side and I was here and my son Braden was on that end, and we're holding this thing up and we're like sticking it with command strips against the entire wall. Yeah, that was a lot.
Yeah, and it looked so cute. But we got to tell about
So
when I got
cute.
back from Hawaii, though.
Yeah.
How, oh my gosh, it was super funny because she said, okay, I want you to go upstairs and I want you to look at the chairs and tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
Yes.
And so
So what I had done in the meantime, I had taken the pink chairs out, the blue chairs out.
I didn't even see
She
these.
never even saw them. I had
saw
those in the workout room
Yeah.
down the hall. And so we had the vintage chairs had been sitting between my dresser and my bed for like 5 days. And I wanted to give her the opportunity to decide if she thought those chairs were too big for the space as well. And so we moved everything out, moved those chairs back in here. And then I said, okay, I'm so excited because we had the polka dot background, the bright yellow background, and the vintage chairs here. And then, go ahead.
Yeah, so then I walk in and she goes, okay, what's the first thing you know that you notice? And I'm like, that there's like too much going on, like it's too printy or something. She goes, no, they're too big. And I went, oh, okay, yeah, you're right, because they went past like the wall.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, angled, they would fit, but seriously, they looked so much bigger in this room than when we saw them outside.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to a furniture store and you look at something, it looks normal. And then you get it home and it's massive, right?
Yeah. Well, and we never measured.
No, we didn't.
We should have measured.
We had to measure.
I didn't think it was a necessity because this retreat feels really big, but not when you have a massive, oversized vintage chair in it. And literally, her and I would have been so far apart.
They were so big.
They were so big, and we were like in the middle of the studio because the back of the chair, the depth of the chair was so long. We were like out here.
And not to mention that the cushions were so worn that when we sat in them, we sat down. So we were sticking cardboard. Oh no, you went on one about foam inserts.
Yeah, so
that lift because we looked like Lily Tomlin.
Yeah, we were like
sitting
little
in
kids,
a little
like,
teeny chair,
all hunkered down in a chair.
Yeah, it was pretty comical.
That was so funny.
Not to mention, after I gave it more thought too. Those chairs, the print on them, black, red, and white with swirls and all this stuff going on. I could have never even worn this shirt and sat in that chair.
Yeah, it'd have been so busy.
I just would have looked.
You would have got swallowed up.
Ridiculous. In that chair. Mm-hmm. So we didn't really think it all out.
No, we didn't. But there's been a lot we've learned throughout this process, too, that we never even thought we'd have to learn or know or figure out or anything. And who'd have thought it would have been a chair?
I know, right?
But it did happen that way.
Yeah.
But, so then she was like, well, we could maybe make them work. And I go, well. And then I'm, starting to sweat because I'm like, now I got 4 chairs down the hall.
Or more.
Yeah.
It costs $170.
$170. I know it. And I even said, you don't even have to pay half of it. Because I was feeling so guilty. But I just kept thinking, I don't want to burst her bubble on her vacation in Hawaii. I wanted that to be perfect and her to think everything was moving like clockwork here. And so anyhow, I said, okay, now sneak out and then
go downstairs. Go downstairs now, and we're going to do something different.
Yeah.
And then when I tell you to come back up, come back up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. So once she was gone, we moved those two massive chairs back next to my bed in between the dresser. And then Steve and Braden and I grabbed the pink and the blue chairs and we're all setting it up and situating the table a lot closer and all that. And then, so I'm like, okay, the coast is clear. Come on up. And so she came up and she was like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, do you like it? I was so afraid you were going to be upset. But it did, didn't it?
Oh, I love it.
It's so cute.
And I know us talking on here doesn't do it justice
because you
can't see the room.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cute. And with having the two chairs over here now, for later on, down the line when we do have guests, then we do have the cute little pink chairs.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yes.
So
then the room's set up.
Then
right?
it's all set up. We've got the backdrop. Yeah.
We've got the chairs all set up.
And then we had picked a day where we were going to take our photo up here in the studio.
Little photo shoot.
So that we could create, the logo with our picture on it for, podcast platform and for YouTube, the long banner and everything.
Yeah.
So we set up the ring light and we had the tripod with her iPhone and we were going to set the timer and then we were going to do all of our cute poses we had talked about. And the only thing that we could see in this backdrop when it was the yellow with the effervescent bubbles was the ring light.
The glare.
And the overhead light and the sun. And we were like, we never took this into consideration, that would be a glare problem.
Yeah, the banner was vinyl.
It was.
So any light was glaring on it. And no matter what we did, we turned off all the lights. We closed the blinds. We did everything, maybe used the flash. Because then the flash would just glare on the banner too.
Totally.
And and I know I felt horrible that her husband Steve had just done all this work on creating this, a wall of a banner.
Yeah.
And them trying to get that thing hung up and perfect, and it was perfect until we couldn't use it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I had to tell Steve when he got home from work that day, and I actually started to cry. You know me, I'm always emotional. I was like, so, hon, I need to talk to you about the banner, the backdrop. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I'm like, and I totally start bawling. I'm like, we can't use it. There's like a terrible glare. And he was just like, don't even worry about it.
He was so easy going about it. He goes, yeah, I totally get it. You're right. Yeah, I could see where that would happen. And I'm just like, man.
I know.
He was awesome.
He is so sweet about stuff like that. He said, don't sweat it. This is trial and error. It's what happens when you're starting something you've never done before. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Let's figure out something else. And so I had thought, what if we just did some curtains? We talked about it helping the sound and making it less echoey in here. And so originally we had talked about getting yellow curtains.
Right.
And because we love the color of our logo with the lime green and the sunshiny happy yellow.
Yeah.
But then when I jumped online that night to look for curtains and rods and whatnot, I saw this color and it matched the antique pink chairs over here. So I screenshotted it and I sent it to Cynthia and I'm like, what do you think if we did something that would blend more with the electric blue and the antique pink? And she was like, I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So I ordered it up. I had it in 2 days and Steve and I did it. And it was just so crazy too because I actually liked the curtain better. Yeah. But you just don't know, like when you're coming up with ideas, you're like, what if we did the yellow? That would be so cute and cheery. And as it turns out, it was like kind of a blessing in disguise that the backdrop didn't work. But
we're hoping to be able to use it for something though, because it's really cute, with the bubbles, and it's a cute backdrop. Anybody want a backdrop?
Well, we had talked about using it if we ever did like a little
pop-up or something.
Or something like that.
We would totally use it. So definitely. But probably our biggest challenge in all of this is the actual equipment to do this.
Well, we're not very tech savvy, so
Zero.
yeah.
And so I've said if we could do it,
Yeah.
anybody could do
Anybody.
it. Because, we have had a lot of challenges with cords and adapters and splitters. And we were recording on my iPhone first. We thought that would be the way to go. I always thought a podcast, you plug in a microphone and you
Grab 2 chairs.
Yeah, and you grab your phone and you talk and then you upload it, right? Oh no,
No.
not quite.
Well, and I have to say, in our defense, all those YouTubers that teach you how to do a podcast by putting together these 10-minute videos.
Tutorials, yeah.
Yeah, they make it look so easy. And
So easy.
we were like, oh, we're going to have this sucker up and running in a couple of weeks. And we're like, okay, 3 months later. But at least we're here. Finally. And I just have to say, it's been a lot of work, but it's been so much fun.
It has.
And
it has.
It's given us already so much more time together.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because we'll look at our calendars for the week ahead and we're like, okay, I'm not available this day. And she's like, well, I am available that day. I'm like, well, how about the next day? And then she's like, well, I'm not available that day. And so we were just like, but anyways, we always seem to find at least 3 days that we could just shop, research, try to put together, figure it out, trial and error. And so, I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us too.
I think we've done pretty good.
We have done quite well for ourselves.
Yeah.
And, and we're just so looking forward to having lots of podcasts on different subjects that we're super passionate about.
Yeah.
And
share information for you
getting
guys
to know us personally.
Yeah, because we got a lot going on behind the scenes in our lives. Like not,
everybody does.
Not to have a spoiler alert, but stay tuned. We'll share more. Some happy, some sad. It's just life. That's the way life is.
Life. And that's what this podcast is going to be about.
Yeah,
a lot of life, but we are throwing in adventures that we do together, and we want you to join us and join along in our adventures, and join along with our lives, and we
want to inspire people too.
Welcome you all in.
Inspire give you
people.
guys inspiration to see, this is how we are every day, and we still got stuff we're dealing with, and we want to maybe just help people find gratitude in anything that's going on in their life, because we do this on a daily basis, trying to find gratitude and happiness and inspiration, and focus on the positive things and not the negative, and to be able to share our friendship with you and maybe give you guys some inspiration or make you laugh. We're just hoping we could do something positive.
Yeah,
so
for sure. But yes, definitely. Yeah, we are.
So we're going to be launching on YouTube. So you won't be able to find us on any of the podcast platforms yet. So we're going to consider that later. Yeah. But we hope that you will love our videos by liking. And we hope that you'll subscribe. And if you want to get notifications about when our podcasts drop, you could even hit the bell so you can get notifications that one of our new podcasts or episodes have dropped. But
that would be great.
I think that's probably the close of our first podcast. Yay! Can you believe it? I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we only have one thing left to say. Catch you on the next one. Bye.